Alright, so this is going to be part 4 to what if Deku had dark matter. So with that being said, let's just roll the intro.
Treat a bad bitch like she average. I'm a savage, little hoe, what you want, do? I'm about cash if the wild fast. I'ma get that little nigga by any means.
Alright, so before we get this what if started, I'd like to say that all my videos going forward, except for like those mashups that I do, are going to be premiered. And what that means is that you'll be able to see it live, and then you could talk to people in the live chat as you're watching the video. And I might be there if I have time to, because sometimes I'll upload a video and I'll just wait and see how people react to it. But sometimes I might be there to watch it along with you guys. But with that being said, let's just get into the what if. But yeah, if you want to, watch the video when it comes out and talk to people, you gotta, click that bell, I guess, to get the notification. And yeah, so in the last part, we just got done with the USJ kind of arc. So in this one, we're gonna go over the sports festival. So in the last part, Aizawa did get hurt, but not to the extent that he did in canon, where in this one he only broke his arm, while in canon he basically got all those like bandages around him, and he was hurt very badly. So when Aizawa would come back into class, instead of being wrapped in all bandages, the only thing that would be wrapped would be his arm, since he would have gotten a broken arm. Or a sprain. I'm not sure what I should decide. Probably just like a sprain. But yeah. He would tell the class that everyone there needs to do their best because they're going to do a sports festival. And it's very important for their future because it's going to determine where they're going to intern at. And yeah. So he's telling them to take it very serious. And yeah. So, as this is said, Deku is very, he wants to see what what internship he could take, since it's very important for him to become a hero, just like it was in canon. But in this one, he doesn't really have the kind of idea to go. He doesn't really know who to go with, right? So they would still go to lunchtime, but instead of Deku going to lunch with All Might, it would instead be Ida, since in this one, I'm pretty sure Ida is the one who gets it, gets one for all. So instead of Ida getting that kind of that that talk, or Deku getting that talk with All Might, instead it would be Ida, and it would go the same way basically, but Ida would be more how do I say? I guess he wouldn't talk back as much. That's the only way I kind of put it. He would be like, yes, I understand, and I'll do my best. That's basically what he would do. And yeah. So what Deku does for training is he does some physical training, but he would also do some, I guess, endurance training, kind of seeing how much he could push his dark matter to. Because there isn't much limits when it comes to dark matter, in both the show and the concept itself. There isn't like, it's never really stated how much dark matter he could have at once, or even, really what's its limitations, right? So I think Deku would experiment with giving his like dark matter different properties, and seeing how they react to different things. I think one way he would do this is by testing out with lights, and how light affects his wings and things like that. So that's the kind of first idea that he would come up with. So what he does is that he lets the light go through his kind of wings, and the light that passes through actually gets amplified to the point that it's able to melt metal. Just how dark matter was able to do this against Accelerator. So yeah. Okay, so after this would happen, I think in this kind of week span, he would actually grow. He would be able to use his, third set of wings. So he would now have 3 pairs of wings instead of their normal 2. So this would, show that his power is evolving and becoming stronger. So yeah. At this point, I'm not sure when I could introduce the kind of power to make those kind of like cyborgs, like how I explained in the first video, where he's able to make like those video or not videos, those beetles, and where they basically are like his little like spies, and he's able to create like clones of himself and things like that. But the problem is that that's after the revival kind of form that the character Dark Matter takes later on in the story. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to say when he could learn it. So after the week would pass, this is when we actually get started with um, the kind of sports festival, right? So in this one, Bakugo would still be the one who would do the kind of speech because they went off the kind of person who did the best during the kind of entry exams. So yeah, and they don't really the person who speaks for the kind of class doesn't really have to be from the recommendation. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the kind of, like I just said, the entry exam. So Bakugo would still be there to still do the kind of speech, and he would basically still say the same things that he would normally do. He would say that he's like, I'm gonna make this quick, I'm gonna win, right? And there's nothing you guys can really do. So yeah, that's the end of my speech. And he will walk off as people would boo at him, and Ida and Deku would tell him like, how could you be so rude and disrespectful at a special event like this, right? And Bakugo would try to like ignore them and continue walking forward. But before this, right, they would still be in that kind of waiting room, right? And Todoroki would go up to Deku, and he would actually say something similar to what he says in canon about how he's going to defeat him, even though he has a strong quirk. He says that he's going to beat him by using his own strength, which he thinks is his ice powers or his ice side. So yeah, Deku, he doesn't really like. He isn't a very confrontational person in the sense that he doesn't pick fights. So he takes this as a challenge, and he's like, all right, prove to me that you could beat me, right? Because he wants to motivate people. So that's why he kind of tells him. So we go back to where we were, and they would actually get ready to do the obstacle course. So they would get to their ready positions at the starting line, and they would all, as Midnight says, go, they would all rush towards the kind of exit where they would get stuck because there'd be too many people going at once. So yeah. So as this happens, Deku kind of looks at the kind of crowded exit, and he cracks his neck on both sides, and then he unleashes both or all three of his pairs of wings, and he flies right past them. And after this is done, Class 1A joins him by passing all the other students that are stuck, and Deku gets the lead with Todoroki and Bakugo in second and third. And Ida, it takes him a little bit to catch up since he has no real way to get past people except to really jump, right? So yeah, in this one, I'm going to say Ida's a lot faster, like a lot. Like let's say that the All for One or One for All actually multiplies his quirk, right? So he's a lot faster than he is in canon, because Ida is not that fast when you compare him to other, speedsters or people with speed powers in other shows and comics and anime, right? He's kind of slow. He doesn't really go that fast. Even with reciprocal burst, he is pretty slow compared to others. So this is kind of like a little buff to him, since he kind of needs that to be on the same level as the other students. So yeah. So Deku would start flying forward just how he would normally do, and he has a big lead on everyone else. So this is when the kind of 0 pointers would come in, and Deku's never really seen them because he went through the recommendation and not really through the normal means. So what Deku would do is that he would actually go, like he would fly above the zero pointers, and people would think like, oh, he's just running away from him. But instead, he actually uses his wings, spreads them out even further than before, and uses the sunlight to actually melt them, or melt at least one of them, because he wants to leave the others to see how they would perform and things like that, right? So at this point, the crowd would be kind of going wild, seeing that this kid just melted a zero pointer. I would say that, yeah, it's pretty much down and can't really get up. So as that's done, Deku would continue and get to the finish line without really any problems. So Bakugo and, or Todoroki and Bakugo would go ahead of them, go ahead of the others, because Todoroki would freeze the robot, and Bakugo could just go past it just as normal. And Ida would be catching up pretty quickly, since after he would get past the kind of crowd, he would start going faster than normal. And I'm not sure what percentage I gave Ida. Let's just say it's like 20% of One for All. So yeah, as they get to the kind of landmine or minefield, right? This is when Bakugo and Todoroki would be kind of being neck to neck, trying to kind of go past each other. As this is happening, this is when Ida would actually catch up to them, and what he would do, since he's a lot faster, he'd be able to kind of outpace them, because he wouldn't be right next to them, which would give him a big advantage, because they'd be too focused on fighting each other, and they would get a lot further ahead, or he would get a lot further ahead. So I would say in this one, second place would go to Ida, and third place would go to Todoroki. So Bakugo would get fourth, and the other places would be the same. So yeah. And we get to the kind of cavalry battle. So this is where I'm actually going to end the video. I know this is a lot shorter than my typical videos, but yeah, I'm going to try to do different kinds of videos, because right now, it doesn't seem like my longer videos are getting as many views as they used to. And that has to do with a lot with like, when I had those like 2 weeks where I couldn't upload, that really killed my momentum with my channel. And right now I'm kind of stagnating in the amount of views and subscribers that I'm getting, and they're at the lowest point since I started the channel, I guess. So I'm just trying to do enough content to keep you know, subscribers that are here kind of happy. And yeah, obviously I still want to grow and things like that. So I'm going to try to do kind of somewhat shorter videos to kind of compensate for the amount of views I'm not getting, because apparently kind of when you get past like 20 minutes, they don't get as recommended as much. So yeah, so with that being said, this is going to be the end of the video. I'm sorry that this video is kind of shorter, but yeah,